Everything good, I'm white boy awesome, up all night, Johnny Carson. I ain't got a Benz, no, just a Honda, but try and get my money like an anaconda. Real long, across the country, chilling in the whip, no cap can bust me. Driving to the stage, they applaud and scream. All them pretty little girls come and flock to me. Yeah, I rack the beat.
There it is, boys. You smell that? That's right. All the aromas. The pigskin, pumpkin spice lattes, fines, the celebrations, and of course, the tears. Fantasy football is back, baby!
And with that, we have our very first video recap of this fresh and young season. As always, it's your boy Corey, aka Mr. Steal Yo Girl.
It's Mr. Steal Yo Girl.
With everyone's favorite co-commish, Austin Taylor, aka Mr. Iron Man.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so.
Aka Melvin Melktoast.
That's right, Corey, and despite a few early bumps in the road where we had to delay the start of yet another draft, and Mr. Brings Up Politics over here took up all the airwaves on the text thread, I think I speak for everyone when I say it's good to be back.
Heard that. I'd rather cut my footballs off than relive any of those moments again.
But it's here. Potentially 15 grueling weeks of torment for those who are in danger of the dress, and for others, 15 weeks of pure bliss watching those in contention for the dress freak out, not knowing what the future holds. So this might just be the best yet. But already the text thread has been great, and it's always a joy to see the banter, the laughs, crazy gifts that make no sense, and of course the shade being tossed.
And we all know that, and that's what makes this league so darn fun. But enough with the sentimentals. We have a league to run, and we have a new member to welcome, Bobby Varner. He's been such a huge presence already, and that announcement video was so dope. So without further ado, let's take a look at his very first League and At fantasy game versus none other than Christian.
Now, if when you say presence, you mean worst first round pick in fantasy league history, then yes, Bobby has been a big presence. Now, I can still remember that moment. There we were. Only one more person stood in front of me, and that was Bobby. Now, I was honestly not happy with my draft position, and I was fully prepared to use that as my excuse for every loss this season. But then it happened.
Yo, what up? Yeah! Let's go Nupsacks, number one!
Nupsacks for life!
Let's go, Bobby! Good pick!
And with the 9th pick of the 2018 League and At Fantasy Football Draft, the Nupsacks select Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Blake Bortles.
Oh, come on! What are you talking about? Bobby! Blake Bortles? Come on, dude!
How could you do that, man?
Get out of a... Bobby swears he will be having the last laugh this season, but I'm not holding my breath. His first round pick led he and his team straight to a loss against a strong team of Christians led by his own first round pick, Saquon Barkley.
Now, the final score of this game was 127-94, giving Christian a desirable start to his season. And this was just one of many games this week that was a complete blowout, which makes me wonder if maybe this will be a common theme this season, or if that's just the way the wind blew this week. We will find out.
That's right, Austin. And for some, that wind blew a big fat turd all over their teams this week. Which brings us to the turd of the week.
This weekly Deuce of Delight is brought to you by Adam Air and Brad Cannonball Carney.
This game truly stunk. It had the lowest combined score total from any week 1 matchup, and you gotta feel bad for Brad here. His first round pick is sitting out for the foreseeable future, and his defense put up a whopping -9 points. -9. But can't blame bad luck in this situation 100% of the time, because looking back at the stats, Brad did start the worst possible lineup he could have. That's never gonna get you out of the toilet bowl, bud.
It's not like he even faced much of a challenge. Air's team was equally dumpy and would have only actually beat 2 other teams this week. Now, it was really only due to Randall Cobb's late night performance that gave him such a big advantage, so he was lucky. But, you know, knowing Air, he probably loves being a turd of the week because of his obsession with b-holes.
Though we did have a winner this week, it is a troubling sign for these two owners, as we all sit back and watch to see if any of these teams are going to be true sinkers or floaters for the season. Los Sicarios wins over Dr. Beckham OBJYN 96.5 to 68.5.
It's not fair!
Next, we turn our attention to Corey versus the reigning champ, Jonah, aka Mr. Steal Yo Girl versus Fun Sports. Now, co-commissioner Corey started off with a strong win, but the bigger story here, I really think, is Jonah's weak start to his title defense. There were bright moments, but most of these were cast out due to his QB's dismal 1.6 point performance. 1.6 points. Now, the only bad thing is that both teams actually suffered big losses, with 2 heavyweight tight ends being out for the foreseeable future due to injury.
Hey. Yeah, okay. Maybe this win did come a little bit easy this week, but you know what? A win is a win. And if that keeps me 1 game away from that dress contention, I am A-okay with that, even if the score is 2-1. Truthfully, I'm just over the moon that my first round pick didn't get hurt this first week like last year. R.I.P. David Johnson. I know you're okay, but you're still dead in my memory. And I couldn't be more thrilled beating the reigning champion. And you know what, boys? You better watch out, because I'm feeling just a tad bit confident.
On a brighter note, we now turn our focus to a closer matchup. My game versus Tanner, aka Melvin Milquetoast versus Dale Daleshire. So good. How sweet it is to have the taste of victory. You know, sometimes in fantasy, skill will take you far, but luck will also do the same thing. And unfortunately, luck was not on Tanner's side. Big Ben laid a massive egg against the Browns, attributing to 5 turnovers. That's a 10-point swing. And then McCaffrey actually added a fumble of his own as well.
For real, at this point, we may need to change Teen's name to Turnover Shire. Am I right there, boys? No? Okay. Well, regardless, this is truly a tough start for Tanner as he goes down to Austin, which is a brilliant start for him, as Melvin Milquetoast beats Dale Daleshire 111.8 to 103.1. Up next, we review Walsh versus Penn, a game ripe with star-studded performances.
Now, believe it or not, this was a surprisingly fun game to watch, and kudos to the auto draft system for setting up Walsh, our perennial auto drafter, for yet another potentially decent season. Walsh actually ended up winning this week's high scorer bonus of $10, but Mike, you should probably just consider this a bonus to help offset your preseason fines for auto drafting.
Tyreek was straight popping for Penn this week, amassing nearly 2/3 of Brad's entire weekly total. But sadly for Penn, some other players on his team let him down this week, and his bench looks awfully weak too.
Now, there was no catching Walsh this week, as all but one of his starters secured double digits, earning him Christian's top spot in the power rankings.
You freaking what, mate?
Guys, this is why the season is a marathon and not a sprint. You never know. So Walsh's team could be something to keep an eye on, but it also could be something that we're all going to take a deuce on. So we'll see. But this week, the Nightman breezed all over Penn's trap with a 151 to 118 victory.
Now, before we move on, we need to pause the fun and games to remember one of our own that we lost over this past summer. As you all know, Bobby's addition to the league is thanks to another former member's departure. He bit the dust this past summer when he made the conscious decision not wearing the dress, ergo dismissal from the league.
Now, we will all remember Liam for his quick wit and his ginger-focused humor, but most importantly, we will miss Liam for being the perennial piñata, someone we could all expect to win against. Now, over the course of his participation, Liam had 1 winning season and a combined franchise record of 27-38. Now, though we tried to give him grace and the allowance of extra time to do the dress video, Liam sadly turned his back on the league and walked away. And as a result, we had to replace him.
And I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you.
We miss Liam, but we are excited for Bobby. So just be pumped and man up this year if you lose. Just freaking do it. All right? Just do it. It's not a big deal.
Enough of that crap. Can we get back to business? Good, because it's time for the game of the week. The game of the week. Yay! This week's game of the week is down to none other than Gurley Beelines versus King Travis in an instant classic of a back and forth battle. As a bystander, this one was fun to watch. Those projected lines going up, going up, going down, going up throughout the day, as well as that final score, seeing it the next morning. Dang, wasn't expecting that.
Now, what was fun for us probably led to some nerves for the other 2 competitors, but ultimately this ended in ecstasy for Mike and pure despair for Travis. And we all thought it was over when Aaron Rodgers went down early in the game.
Triggered! But remarkably, Rodgers bounced back and did the unthinkable against a super strong Bears defense. Good lesson in not counting our chickens, but Mike's team, gotta admit it, is strong. And his decision to take Todd Gurley as first overall pick over the projected best player Le'Veon Bell might be considered a genius move.
But a tough loss for Travis nonetheless, who would have actually beaten 9 other teams this week and 10 if Rodgers hadn't made that comeback. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. And I have a feeling that Travis will use this as fuel, and the 2-time villain of the year will just get fired up for next next week and for the season beyond. But the final score, Gurley Beelines wins in a thriller with 144 points to 129.
And with that, fellas, we have our first week in the bag with 6 losers and 6 winners. We've got Walsh at the very top with points for, and Brad at the bottom of the barrel. You're going to have to climb your way back out. We have a long season ahead of us, and we're thrilled to have y'all recapping throughout the season periodically. Pass this one to Travis next week for that week 2 recap.
Until next time, it's Melvin and Mr. Steal Your Girl. We out!